Okay, well actually that's a really good question because I've just published a book called People-Centric Security, Measuring and Transforming, or it's actually Transforming Your Enterprise Security Culture. And in the book, I've developed a couple of models, including some survey instruments that you use to kind of get a picture of what your security culture looks like. And so, you know, it's a survey-based methodology for assessing really kind of, I've got a model called the Competing Security Cultures Framework that lays security culture out into kind of a quadrant system, and then the survey allows you to kind of see the shape of how your culture looks from a security perspective. Well, you know, there is a well-known link outside, you know, security's new at this, but businesses, the idea that culture impacts performance is, there's been empirical studies, it's well known, and we also know anecdotally. We can look and you can think of a company, you can think of different companies in the same industry. One is really successful and has a culture everybody loves, the other not so much. And culture, they've shown, drives everything from, you know, revenue, performance. Basically, Peter Drucker, this quote I use a lot, Peter Drucker said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And so you can have the best strategy, the most advanced technology. If you don't have a culture that's going to take that on board and do well with it, it's going to fail. And so my take on it, and what drove me to write the book, was the idea that if culture impacts organizational performance, then security culture impacts organizational security performance. And we are in an industry where we talk about people, process, and technology, but we really focus on technology, process, people maybe. That doesn't work sustainably. So it's really a focus. Culture is important because people are what makes security function at the end of the day. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind. First, it's not easy. You know, if it was easy to change culture, if you could just put a training campaign in place, then every organization would be as innovative as Apple, because all you would have to do is go out there and be like, oh, we're going to do a training and awareness program and build a culture. It doesn't work that way. So culture takes effort. It takes effort and time to build it, and it takes effort and time to change it. But it is changeable. It is something that you can change and adapt, but it's an all hands on deck kind of thing. So changing security culture, what I really focus on is this idea that there's not one security culture in an organization. And actually, one of the things that I focused on was the idea that cultures can compete with one another. And so you can have different cultures, different security cultures, and a lot of the risks that happen in organizations happen because we don't recognize the fact that we have different priorities and different imperatives. And if you have 3 things you need to get done, and security is one of them, and you only have enough time to do 2, something's got to give. And if security, no matter how important an organization says it is, if it's not the priority compared to things like productivity or revenue or politics, it'll lose. And so really what's important is to realize that culture is something that happens beneath the surface. It's not something that, you know, you can see elements of it, you know, the way people dress, the way they talk, the things that they do, those behaviors are visible. But the beliefs and the structures and the assumptions underneath are harder to see. And to really change culture, you have to stop looking at behavior and you have to start looking at what's driving behavior at a deeper level.